familiar to you from this morning. This is the way I said you should organize your data that you collected over 4 days for 6 different microcosms. I typed all the data. Basically, you were collecting hour of the day for each day. So there's day 1, 9 o'clock. This was your indoor air. You got 73 degrees. You went over, set the thermometer in indoor water. At 9 o'clock, you got 72 degrees. So you did that for 16 different hour points for the indoor microcosms, and you got those data. Did it the same way, same columns, and day numbers and hour of the days for the sunny outdoor microcosms in the air, the sunny in the water, and you did the same for the shaded air microcosm and the shaded water. Got those same values, so you got 16 data points. Now I added an extra column in here called sequence number because you had 16 points. I put 16. I was just in case the Excel graph wanted an X value, but instead I think it gives us a sequence number by default. So now really all I've got to do is tell Excel where are the temperature data coming and what variable do they represent. And we see in the graph below, this is your finished product. You have a total of 6 lines, 1 for each of the microcosms, 3 for air, 3 for water. You had 1 set of them inside. We see they're color-coded. That would be the red and blue lines were the indoor air and water. You have a shaded set of water and air, which we see is the shaded air and water were the blue and the gray. And we see they has a regular daily fluctuation up and down. Now we go to the sunny and we see, yeah, you had a fluctuation there in the, the shaded water is your green line. So I was telling you it was the air one, but you see the air in the shaded and sunny kind of matched up. And then the water temperatures for the sunny water, which was yellow, and the shaded water, which is green, sort of matched up. But we see one is higher than the other. The question is, when you do your t-test statistics on the handout, is there a significant difference between those 2 lines of data? So there you get your 6 lines. That's what the finished product looks like. So now we're going to get rid of the graph here and show you how we get to produce that. So you have to organize your data like I've shown you before up there. All right, now we got to tell the Excel we want to do a graph. You go to Insert. You come over here to tell Excel what kind of graph it is that you want to insert. And so we're going to do a line and point and line graph. Click that. Choose the one right there that looks like that. Now, your default gives you kind of a small graph. Take a corner of it, drag it, and make it bigger, but keep it below your data because we don't want to block the data as we select it, which we got to do right now by going up to Design. Design tells us select the data. So we now want to move the Select Data box the same way. We want to move it away from our data rows because we'll block them. We start off, we're going to have to do this 6 times, the same action. We're going to add the first, we're going to work from left to right. The first we see, of course, is the indoor air temperature. Air temperature. So we're going to go indoor air. That's our air temperature. Now we're going to remove the default series values equals 1 in parentheses and then manually go over here with your cursor, go to the day 1, hour 1 temperature for indoor air, drag it down to the 16, and then click OK, and you've got your first graph line. We're going to repeat this 5 more times. We go to Add. Now we're going to add the next one to the right, which is indoor water. Indoor water. We get rid of the default value there. Come over with your cursor, click on the top temperature value for day 1, hour 1, go down to the 16th value, and then you come over and click OK. Now we've got our 2 graphs for indoor air and your indoor water. All right, now we got to go to our outside sunny air and sunny water. So we're going to go to Add again over here. for your third graph. We're going to say, well, that's going from left to right. That is sunny air. All right, and so now we come down here. We get rid of the default value. We move our cursor manually over here to the column of the sunny air temperatures. We go to the first box, drag it down to the 16th, click OK, and now we've got our first outdoor sunny air values. Now we got to do it again for the sunny water. Go to Add, and we then name this, of course, sunny water. Get rid of the default value. Bring the cursor manually over to your water temperatures to the first value, drag it down through the 16th value, click OK, and you get your graph for the sunny water. We now have two more graphs to do, which is the shaded. So we go Add again. We come up here, and we're going to say we're going to go to shaded air. Shaded air. And then we're going to get rid of the default value here. Rid of the default value. Come up with your, manually move your cursor over here to your box for the first value, drag it down to the 16th value, and click OK. Now you've got the shaded air. We have one more to go, which is shaded water. So we're going to name that, same thing, shaded water. Get rid of the default value down here. By highlighting it, clicking backspace, it removes it. Then we move the cursor up, and manually we're going to choose the first value, which is the shaded water, all the way down to the 16th value. Click OK. Now you have all your lines on the graph. We click OK to get out of that. So we have all the plots. However, you see we've got an axis problem. We got the axis going from 0 down here all the way up to 90. There's a lot of dead space in here that doesn't tell us anything. We want to minimize that. So we're going to come over here and click on your y-axis values, and then it'll have a pop-up menu. We're going to change the scale. So let's come over here, click on those, double click. Here comes the scale. We go up here, we see minimum 0, maximum 90. We want to change that to minimum of, looks like 40 would be a good one. Minimum of 40. Enter 40, hit enter, and boom, we see the graph has a better scale to it. Okay, so now we're got the lines, but we don't have a key and we don't have labels. So let's make the graph a little bit bigger to work with. We're going to drag a corner. All right, how do we get those? Well, we go and click the plus sign up here. It gives us a menu of what we want to include, in our graph. Instead of calling them axis labels like most instruction books, they call it axis titles, but we want to use it, so we go axis title. Then we go down, we want a legend, and that's about everything we need there. We've got now we have the legend or key, and we have the titles, and now we have to improve those. So let's go over here to our graph, and again make our graph a little bit bigger now. And then if we click in the middle of the graph space, we get another set of handles where you can actually shrink the physical graph. If you want to have more room, say for your symbol key over here, and you can move that box around if you like. You can even move it into the graph itself. Now we see some other improving that we need to do here, and that is we need to label the axes. So we're going to highlight that little axis labeled text box there, and we're going to then highlight it, and now we're going to time the actual value. We said that this is not really time, but these are the actual sampling events. So we can name it anything like that which will be accurate. So we could call it sampling event. Something similar to that, because they're not actually clock hours. And you can adjust the font on that a little bit by, well, we won't take anything. Oh, yeah, it has a pop-up box. So if we'll make it a little bigger, say we'll go to a 12, and you want to make it bold so it shows up better, do that. Now we go over here to the y-axis value. Go over to the y-axis value. Do the same thing. Now this is typing vertically, so it's a little bit trickier. But you come down and you highlight the title. And we said this is temperature, so similar to the way we did for the dissolved oxygen. Temperature, and of course it was degrees Fahrenheit, so we'll put degrees, abbreviation, Fahrenheit. Same deal with, may want to make it look a little bigger and prettier. So highlight it, it gives you a pop-up box. Go with maybe a font 12, bold, and now it stands out better. And so there you have your legend, sampling box, sampling events, and the temperature degree. So your graph basically is finished now, and we go through the same procedure as long as the whole box handles are all highlighted. You can now do Control-C, copy the box, move it to your Word file, and here's the practice one we had before here with temperature, which is figure 2, so that we put this out here in front. Let's put a insert, page break, go up here, stick, and then do a Control-V to paste it, and boom, there's your new graph, which you, of course, would have to type a legend to. So those are the easy steps. And of course, that would be figure 1, and that would be temperature differences for air and aquatic microcosms for 16 hours of measurement, or 16, since it don't want to mislead your readers to think you did 16 consecutive hours, 16 time events over 4 days in October 21st to the 24th. And there you have your who, what, where, and when. All right, so there you see it. I hope that was helpful. And we'll now